We are very, very excited to showcase to you tonight our Smoke and Mirrors report, which is the first report in South Africa on greenwashing. This is an issue that we should care about, and it has real implications for people's lives.
We look into not just climate change, but we're trying to tease in the social licensing that greenwashing actually allows for fossil fuel industries. What can we do as the environmental activists, as civil society, as policy makers? What can we do together to fight greenwashing? What can we do together to actually stop fossil fuel companies?
Yeah, let's kick some fossil fuel ass.
We did a community workshop about greenwashing in Mpumalanga, which is one of the worst areas in South Africa that are affected directly by fossil fuel companies.
This specific community is a community that's surrounded by over 42 mines. What level of influence allows these fossil fuel companies to keep coming into this specific community and continue to open mines? And how are these communities affected by that? How do we bring these women and these men that are affected, having to work at the mines to their death? How do we bring the women that are losing children to the mines into the conversation on just transition? We look at greenwashing as being sustainable development claims, but what actually happens in the community is something completely different. Fossil fuel companies greenwash themselves very differently when they're face to face with communities. One of the bigger things that we advocate for through the report is to actually expand the definition of greenwashing to allow for greenwashing complaints, to allow for an honest review of greenwashing within the climate change environment and within the climate change activism.
We tracked 6 companies: Astron, BP, Engine, Sasol, Shell, and Total Energies.
And we looked at the top 10 outlets accepting fossil fuel advertising. And I think if you look at this is radio. You see your Metro FMs, you see your Ukhozi FM, Facebook. These are actually mainstream media outlets. We realized that fossil fuel ads, and this is only within the time frame of those 2 months, the total spend was about 15 million. Over this period, these 6 companies reached 30.5 million people through their advertising efforts.
They do a lot of stuff where it's like everyday life, and it's showing people from all walks of society in South Africa, and we're all joined by the fact that we have to use an engine. And the next one was implicit claims of caring about the future. And the way that they do this is in 2 ways. First, by suggesting that they care about societal progress through scientific and technological innovations. So you're like, okay, cool, Sasol's employing a whole bunch of people on a wind farm project, but in reality, a very small amount of their profits actually go towards renewable energy. A big part of this as well is sponsorships. Yes. And that is a very big part of how greenwashing actually gets done, is through corporate responsibility initiatives. They go into communities, they sponsor dental clinics, they sponsor medical clinics, they sponsor HIV clinics, and they are helping people in those communities. But at what cost? Because how do those people get sick in the first place? It just masks this very nefarious role that they play in reality. A part of our campaign strategy is to get endorsements from a whole bunch of different sectors: businesses, individuals, organizations, municipalities, and also political parties.
But the idea is to take this as the first level of data to the policymakers, to civil society, and to raise awareness, and to have even the policymakers understand what it is that we are proposing together with civil society and communities. So that is definitely the next step to the report and the campaign.
As some of you will know me from the work with Clean Creatives that we've been doing for a few years, thanks to great support from David and the team at Fossil Free South Africa. We've managed to make some really great inroads in the South African advertising and PR industry. Well, how does this pledge work? So it's a commitment for an advertising agency or an individual person, creative working within an agency, or for a brand to decline future contracts with fossil fuel companies, trade associations, and front groups. Who's excluded? It's companies whose primary business is the extraction, processing, transportation, or sale of oil, gas, and coal.
Environmental action is not just something that our kids are going to face. It's happening now. We have 2 new species that are suffering the extinction possibility in the African penguin and the Nisan seahorse. We continue to have mines throughout the country that are not adhering to the Mineral Petroleum Resources Development Act. We also have a new environmental minister who's now completely 180'd on our last decisions made about sewage affluent flow, and this has resulted in much more sewage being pumped out into our oceans. One of the biggest oil spills has just happened off the coast of Strandfontein, where the aforementioned penguins were affected, as well as the 5th largest estuary in this country. There is a concerted effort to silence any proper retaliation against what is basically profit. And an ad ban is something that is very, very important, because what it does is it targets the mindset of the South African people.
We started the campaign to ban all fossil advertising in the Netherlands and beyond, and very much inspired by the ad ban against the tobacco industry. And now, years later, the city of The Hague is again one of the first in the world to actually ban fossil fuel advertising by a local law.
Thank you so much.